In today's digital world, nearly everything we interact with, from our morning alarms to the most advanced missile systems, relies on a technology that's invisible to the eye yet indispensable: semiconductors. These tiny, intricate pieces of silicon are the brainpower behind modern civilization. And sitting at the center of it all is one company, TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. You may not see their logo or hear about them on the nightly news, but TSMC's chips are likely powering the very device you're watching this on. From powering Apple's iPhones to NVIDIA's AI accelerators, from Amazon data centers to US military systems, TSMC is everywhere. It's not just a tech company, it's become a geopolitical linchpin. As global tensions intensify between the United States and China, this one company on a small island is shaping the trajectory of the 21st century. The fate of innovation, global economies, and perhaps even peace itself could hinge on what happens to TSMC. Before we dive deeper, take a second to like this video and share it with others who want to understand how technology and geopolitics are converging. It really helps us spread this message to more people like you. Founded in 1987 by Morris Chang, TSMC pioneered a revolutionary model in the semiconductor industry. Instead of designing its own chips, it focused entirely on manufacturing chips designed by others. This pure-play foundry model allowed TSMC to concentrate exclusively on advancing fabrication technologies. While companies like Apple, AMD, and NVIDIA dreamed up chip designs, TSMC perfected the tools to bring those dreams to life. That decision paid off. TSMC now produces more than 90% of the world's most advanced chips, at 5 nanometers, 3 nanometers, and beyond. These aren't ordinary chips. They're incredibly dense, powerful, and energy efficient, making them vital for everything from gaming to artificial intelligence to next-generation weapons. The company's fabs are among the most advanced industrial facilities on Earth, operating under cleanroom conditions 100,000 times cleaner than a hospital. Its engineers push the limits of physics daily. Chips made here are thinner than a strand of hair and contain billions of transistors. No one else can do what TSMC does at this scale, speed, and consistency. But with great power comes great vulnerability. Taiwan, home to TSMC, is a geopolitical flashpoint. It sits just 100 miles off the coast of China, which claims the island as its own. The United States, on the other hand, supports Taiwan's autonomy and has deep security and economic ties with the island. Caught between these two superpowers, Taiwan, and by extension TSMC, has become a symbol of strategic importance. For the US, TSMC represents technological superiority and national security. For China, it's a missing puzzle piece in its ambitions to become a global tech leader. The result? Tremendous pressure and constant tension. The US government has launched an aggressive campaign to regain semiconductor independence. Through legislation like the CHIPS and Science Act, Washington is offering more than $50 billion to companies willing to manufacture on American soil. TSMC, lured by subsidies and geopolitical concerns, has committed over $40 billion to build a megafab in Arizona. But manufacturing chips in the US is proving far more complex than anticipated. The talent pool is limited, construction costs are higher, and regulatory red tape is thicker. Even getting the essential equipment from firms like ASML in the Netherlands requires navigating global export controls. At the same time, the US is tightening restrictions on China, banning the export of chip-making tools and cutting-edge semiconductors. Companies like NVIDIA now must redesign products to comply with these controls, and TSMC is squeezed by these policies, needing to comply with both sides. This brings us to you. What's your take on this balancing act? Drop a comment below. Should TSMC lean toward building more fabs outside Taiwan, or is its core strength tied to staying put? Beijing has responded in its own way. China is investing heavily in its domestic chip sector. Companies like SMIC are racing to build competitive fabs, while Huawei is finding clever ways to sidestep sanctions, even launching a 7nm chip last year despite US pressure. But China's challenge is immense. It lacks access to the full suite of high-end tools needed for top-tier chips, particularly EUV lithography machines. Even if it could catch up technologically, the supply chain and human talent that TSMC enjoys in Taiwan are not easily replicated. Militarily, China has increased its activities near Taiwan, sending aircraft into air defense zones and staging naval drills. These are signals aimed not just at Taiwan, but at the US and its allies. Taiwan isn't just a political issue, it's a technological prize. Analysts often refer to TSMC as Taiwan's Silicon Shield. The idea is that because TSMC is so essential to the global economy, no country would risk a conflict that might destroy it. In theory, TSMC's importance protects Taiwan, but the logic is starting to fray. What if deterrence fails? What if an accident or miscalculation triggers a broader conflict? And what if China believes it can seize TSMC intact? The stakes are enormous. If TSMC were disrupted, due to war, natural disaster, or cyber attack, the global impact would be immediate and catastrophic. Tech companies would miss product launches, car makers would shut down assembly lines, and defense departments would face major delays. It would be a shockwave felt from Silicon Valley to Frankfurt to Seoul. Many hope companies like Samsung in South Korea and Intel in the US can step up. Samsung has some of the world's most sophisticated fabs. Intel is investing heavily to reclaim its manufacturing edge. But both face long timelines and unique challenges. Intel, for example, is undergoing a dramatic transformation under its IDM 2.0 strategy. It's building new fabs in Ohio and Arizona and trying to win back customers it lost years ago. But process technology is not just about money, it's about institutional experience. TSMC has been refining its model for decades. China's SMIC is advancing, but with severe limitations. Without access to EUV machines, SMIC must rely on older, less efficient technologies. Even Huawei's breakthroughs, though impressive, show how far there still is to go. The world is waking up to the reality. The supply chain for the most advanced chips is alarmingly fragile. One major disruption, and the global digital economy could stall. To hedge their bets, governments and corporations are pouring billions into diversification. Japan is collaborating with TSMC to build new fabs. Germany is courting chip makers to establish a presence in Europe. Even India is positioning itself as a future player with major incentives. But the road to diversification is long and uncertain. Fabs take years to construct. Engineers must be trained, ecosystems must be built from scratch. Taiwan's dominance won't disappear overnight. TSMC itself knows this. That's why it's expanding carefully, setting up joint ventures, investing in talent pipelines, and hedging geopolitical risk. But even TSMC admits that no site outside Taiwan can yet match the productivity of its main operations. Time is of the essence. The next decade could define whether the world can build a more resilient chip supply chain, or remain dangerously dependent on one company, one island, and one fragile geopolitical balance. And make no mistake, this is more than a supply chain issue. It's about who controls the future of technology, from AI to defense to global finance. Every smartphone, missile, drone, and server rack depends on what TSMC does next. TSMC's story is one of excellence, risk, and global consequence. It shows us the best of what innovation can achieve, and the vulnerabilities that come with it. It's not just a chip maker, it's the heartbeat of the digital age. In the coming years, whether through strategic investment, international cooperation, or simply avoiding conflict, the world must find a way to protect the flows of technology that drive our economy and security. The next time you unlock your phone or stream a movie, think of the tiny chip inside and the monumental risks tied to its birthplace. If you found this deep dive valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We've got more big picture breakdowns coming your way. Thanks for watching, and stay informed, stay curious.